గోపాల గోపాల గోకులనందన గోపాల 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 గోకులనందన గోపాల 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 గోకులనందన గోపాల 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 గోకులనందన గోపాల. గోపాల నవనిత చోర గోపాల నందకుమార నవనిత చోర నందనందన గోపాల 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 గోకులనందన గోపాల 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 గోకులనందన గోపాల. అనాథ రక్షక గోపాల ఆపద్బాంధవ గోపాల అనాథ రక్షక ఆపద్బాంధవ అఖిలాధార గోపాల 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 గోకులనందన గోపాల 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 గోకులనందన గోపాల 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 గోకులనందన గోపాల 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 గోకులనందన గోపాల.
सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै. ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति. यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै देवाय तस्मै Let us chant the first 5 verses. Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha अथ द्वादशोऽध्यायः भक्तियोगः अर्जुन उवाच एवं सततयुक्ताये भक्तास्त्वां पर्युपासते ये चाप्यक्षरमव्यक्तं तेषां के योगवित्तमाः श्रीभगवानुवाच मय्यावेश्य मनो ये मां नित्ययुक्ता उपासते श्रद्धया परयोपेताः ये त्वक्षरमनिर्देश्यम् अव्यक्तं पर्युपासते सर्वत्र गमचिन्त्यं च कूटस्थमचलं ध्रुवं सन्नियम्येन्द्रियग्रामं ते प्राप्नुवन्ति मामेव सर्वभूतहिते रताः क्लेशोऽधिकतरस्तेषाम् अव्यक्तासक्तचेतसाम् अव्यक्ता हि गतिर्दुःखं देहवद्भिरवाप्यते. Right. For the question asked by Arjuna as to Saguna Upāsanā is better or Nirguna Upāsanā is better. Saguna Upāsanā means meditating upon God with form, with attributes. Nirguna Upāsanā means meditating on God without any attributes, without any form. So for that question, Bhagavan is now giving various stages of sadhana which one has to perform. So first Bhagavan takes up Nirguna NIRＡKARA Upāsanā. So in this meditation, here we are not going to have any kind of imagination. We are going to face truth in the most straightforward way. Straightforward means what? The truth as it is. So what is it that we do? We use the pointers in the Upanishads, and at the seat of meditation we witness the thoughts. So the scriptures say the thoughts are the distorting medium, so you have to eliminate the thoughts. Yoga chitta vritti nirodha, Ashtanga Yoga of Patanjali. What is yoga? Chitta vritti nirodha, cessation of all thoughts is yoga. Pravaha uparamaha dhiyaha yoga. That's another definition given in Bhagavatam. Pravaha uparamaha dhiyaha, the cessation of the flow of thoughts. So at the seat of meditation, what are we supposed to do? We are supposed to just witness the thoughts, not labeling it as good or bad. So then what happens? If the witnessing is proper, if the witnessing is happening efficiently, you will find the thoughts dying down. Now yesterday we had seen all the thoughts, they take their existence from I thought. What is this I thought? I thought is the concept about myself, that also is a thought, it's a concept, it's a notion. So all the thoughts are springing forth from this I notion. So therefore, at the seat of meditation, even this I thought also becomes an object to be witnessed. So what happens? The moment this I thought becomes an object, becomes a witness, then that I thought also dies down. Anything that comes in front of this witnessing principle is burned in the fire of witnessing. If you identify with the thoughts, you will go along with the thoughts gain momentum. But the moment you disidentify with the thoughts lose their strength. The thoughts lose their hold upon you. So the moment this I thought also becomes an object of witnessing, what happens? I thought dies down and the real I, Satchit Ananda I, the pure I, shines forth. And one experiences this real I, which is none other than God, as myself. The pure I, the pure self, shines forth. Shines forth means not as an object, but as one's own subject, as I am. So the experience has to take place as I am. But now what is the difficulty? Bhagavan says, Kleshaha adhikataraha. This is the highest meditation and therefore the most difficult one. Why is it most difficult? So Bhagavan gives the answer. Avyaktahi gatihi dukkham dehavadbhihi avapyate. So for a person who is identified with deha, with one's own body, this meditation will be very difficult. Because his identification with the body is very strong, so therefore all the thoughts related to this body, this personality will also be very strong, and therefore he will not be able to witness these thoughts properly. This I thought becomes as though a part of witnessing consciousness. This I thought also becomes a part of witnessing consciousness. So therefore while witnessing he will say, I, the ego, is witnessing. Now there is a problem here. I, the ego, is witnessing means what? The individuality remains. Because as long as the I thought is not made as an object, it can never die down. It will attain its destruction only when you are able to separate this I notion from consciousness and put it in front. Now what happens when your identification with the body is very strong? This egoistic person, as an ego, sits and start witnessing, and it is not possible. You start wandering. So therefore Bhagavan says, for the people who have this strong identification with body, this meditation is not possible. Nirguna, Nirakara, Dhyana is not possible. So therefore Bhagavan gives the next level, level number 4, which is comparatively easy. So let us chant 6, 7, 8. In 6, 7, 8, we will speak about Saguna, Nirakara, Dhyana. Saguna, Nirakara, Upāsanā. The first one we will call it as Dhyanam. Why Dhyanam? Because facing truth as it is. From here onwards we will talk about Upāsanā. Saguna, Nirakara Upāsanā or VISHVARūPA Upāsanā. VISHVARūPA Ishvara Upāsanā. Let us chant 6, 7, 8. Ye tu sarvāni karmāni Mayi sanyasya matparāhā Ananyenaiva yogena Mam dhyayanta upāsate Teshamaham Samuddhartā Mrityu Samsara Sagarat Bhavami Nachirat Partha Maya Veshita Chetasam Mayeva Mana Adhatsva Mayi Buddhim Niveshaya Nivasishyasi Mayyeva Ata urdhvam na samshayah Ye tu sarvani karmani Mayi sanyasya matparāhā Ananyenaiva yogena Mam dhyayanta upāsate Teshamaham samuddhartā Mrityu samsara sagarat Bhavami nachirat partha Mayyeva mana adhatsva Mayi buddhim niveshaya Nivasishyasi mayyeva Ata urdhvam na samshayah. Yes. So in the next level, level number 4, what are you supposed to do? You don't have to take any of these pointers which were mentioned earlier. Like, Yetu Aksharam, imperishable, Anirdeshyam, indescribable, Avyaktam, unmanifest, Sarvatragam, all pervading, Achintyam, unthinkable. You don't have to use any of this. Instead, you will use the terms like Bhagavan is Karuna Sagaraha, lot of compassion. Sarvatnyaha, all knowing. Sarvashaktiman, all powerful. Now this is called Saguna. Saguna means what? Full of gunas. But NIRＡKÀRA. NIRAKÀRA means you are not considering God with form. You consider God as all-pervading infinite, but with full of feelings you remember God. Bhagavan is my father and mother, my creator. So therefore he loves me a lot. I should also love him a lot. Wherever Bhagavan has placed me, he has placed me for my own good. Now what is happening? Now lot of feelings are generated. Lot of feelings of love is generated. This is what we have to do. Saguna with guna. At the same time, NIRAKÀRA. It is not necessary that you have to have a form. So therefore, you don't consider this world as illusion. You consider this world as real. What about the Nirguna Nirakara Upasaka? For him, world is an illusion. Because world is nothing but a play of mind. Mind itself doesn't exist, so where does the world exist? That is his way of thinking. So you don't have to do that, because if you do that, your entire sadhana will become dry. So after sitting for meditation for half an hour, you don't feel what you call joy in your heart. You feel some kind of dryness. Maybe you may experience some peace, but it is all a dry peace. Are you able to understand what I am saying? There is no feeling, there is no love, there is no nothing. And because of this dryness, you go to sleep also. So here it is not like that. Here what are we trying to do? We are trying to bring in all kinds of noble emotions. We are trying to fill our heart with all noble emotions of devotion, love, etc. For that, you have to apply your mind. So since you are applying the mind, you are not trying to eliminate the mind, we will call it Upāsanā. We will not call it Dhyana, or we will not call it Jnana Yoga. We will call it Upāsanā Yoga because your mind plays a very important role in bringing out these noble emotions. You have to apply the mind. You are not witnessing the mind. You are applying the mind. So you are consciously choosing thoughts. So whenever you are in a situation, you try to see the hidden hand of God in every situation. This is the kind of sadhana you have to practice. Try to see the hidden hand of God in every situation. And all your interpretation should be such that God is helping us evolve. Your interpretation should not be like, God, you have given me so much suffering. That means you don't exist. You are cruel. You are indifferent. All these kinds of interpretation should not be there. Why? Because suppose you conclude, especially when you see the world, lot of sufferings here and there, if you conclude that God is cruel, if you conclude that God doesn't exist, then you cannot move forward in this sadhana. Because then devotion will not arise. So whenever you find suffering, etc., make sure to educate the mind that this suffering is given by Lord for the welfare and well-being of all. Especially when suffering comes to us, you have to be very alert. Educate the mind, be observant, and a day will definitely come when you will say, thank you God, you have given that suffering, therefore I have become a better person. Suffering has to be considered like a brush and soap. So if you want to clean your dress, what do? If the stains are not mild, what will you do? A mere soaking the cloth will not do. You have to use harsher methods. Brush, soap, etc. you have to use. You have to scrub and rub. Isn't it? Then only the harder stains will go. So in the same way, the Lord also has no other option to rub and scrub us when some of the deep-rooted stains are there, which we may not know. In our own mind, there are some deep-rooted vasanas which will never go by normal means. So therefore, Bhagavan has to make us, he has to send us through trials, difficulties. This is how you have to analyze every situation. So every situation has to be analyzed and concluded that God is compassionate. Only a compassionate, loving God you can fix your mind to. In this seat of meditation, you are trying to take the attention of the mind and fix it in God through love. Love is the most powerful means of concentration. Anyone whom you love, to concentrate on that person, it is very easy, isn't it? Someone whom I love, is it difficult to put my mind to that person? No, it is effortless. Ask a mother how difficult it is to meditate upon her child. She will not find it difficult, rather she would find it difficult to withdraw the mind from the child. Isn't it? Now what is that attractive force? What is that magnetic force? It is nothing but the force of love. So here also, a Nirguna, Saguna, NIRΑKΑRA Upāsaka, what is he trying to do? He is trying to cultivate more and more love for God. So what is the easiest means? Easiest means is every situation whichever comes to you, whether good or bad, whether it is joy or sorrow, heat or cold, honor or dishonor, every situation he has to convert it as an opportunity to develop love for God. This is the sadhana to be done. To give an example, there is a famous story of Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. There was once a cloth merchant whose job was to sell clothes. So whenever a customer used to come to his shop, he would say, by the grace of the Lord, the cost of thread is 1 rupee. By the grace of the Lord, the labor charges 2 annas, and by the grace of the Lord, profit is again 2 annas. Therefore, by the grace of the Lord, the total selling price of this cloth is 1 rupee 4 annas. This used to say. For every sentence he used to add this, by the grace of the Lord. So all the customers also had total faith in him. They loved him. So they used to purchase from him. So after this business, after his dinner, he used to sit in a temple and he used to chant the name of the Lord, sing bhajans, etc. And this temple happened to be in a very lonely place in the middle of a forest. So one day as he was chanting the name of the Lord, some robbers came and they had a big bundle of loot. So they were searching for a person to carry this because it was very heavy. So they found this person sitting all alone. So they caught hold of him and put that bundle onto his head. So they were all walking along the forest. Suddenly the police arrived. And when the police came, all these robbers ran away. He was caught with the bundle. So naturally police concluded that this person alone must have stolen everything. So they caught hold of him and put him inside jail. Next morning the villagers came to know that this merchant has been caught. So all of them went to the magistrate and pleaded, sir, this person cannot steal. It is impossible. So this magistrate called this person from the jail, merchant. Tell me what happened. So this merchant said, by the grace of the Lord, after dinner, I was singing bhajans, and by the grace of the Lord, robbers came. By the grace of the Lord, they put this bundle onto my head, and we were going. Again, by the grace of the Lord, police came. By the grace of the Lord, all of them ran away. By the grace of the Lord, I was caught, and by the grace of the Lord, I was put into the jail. Now, by the grace of the Lord, I have come in front of you. Now, when the magistrate heard this, he understood this fellow can never cheat. He is a pure-hearted person. Immediately he was left. So he came back to the village. So their crowd had gathered. So all of them asked, what happened? By the grace of the Lord, I am released. Now this is called accepting all situations without complaint. Why there is no complaint? There is no complaint because he has total faith that whatever God does, he does it for my good. I may or may not understand. In fact, when something terrible happens, I will definitely complain, grumble. But it is only because of my immaturity. So whenever he sees his mind grumbling, he will not complain to God. He will say, Bhagavan, please excuse me. I am really sorry. I find my mind grumbling. I know what you have done is right. I am not able to accept it. So please forgive me. This is a big crime I am doing against you, that I am complaining against your decision. You have done something good which I am not able to understand. So Bhagavan, please give me the strength to accept this situation. Please make me understand that this is ultimately good for me. This is the kind of prayer these upasakas will have. Every situation he turns it into an opportunity to develop love. So therefore even the problems are nothing but blessings in disguise for him. Is it clear? This is called as Saguna, NIRΑKΑRA, Upāsanā. Why is it called Upāsanā? Because here action is not important. Here it is the way in which you analyze situation, that is important. You give a turn, a twist to your mind. Situation is the same, but that situation, the way you look at it, that is where Upāsanā comes into picture. You are looking at a situation from a very different angle. The same situation, another person looks at a very different angle. A money-minded person will look at the situation from a money-minded angle. A pleasure-seeking person will look at the same situation from a pleasure-seeking angle. But here, this sadhaka looks at the situation with a spiritual angle. Spiritual angle. So therefore, nothing is bad for him in this world. Everything is good. And whatever is happening in this world, everything happens for good. If he is not able to digest a situation, he will say, it is my problem. My thinking is not right. That is why my mind is disturbed. A pig is wallowing in the filth. What will he see? He will see, Bhagavan, what a digestive power you have given to that pig. Even with mineral water we are falling sick. Where is that pig? In spite of eating filth, it is healthy. Bhagavan, salutations unto you. This is the way he will analyze. So everywhere he sees Bhagavan only. His vision has become divine. Divya Chakshu it is called. His Chakshu is not Laukika. His Chakshu is Divya. This vision is what Bhagavan gives in the 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. In the 11th chapter, Bhagavan, out of his own yoga power, yoga maya, he gives that vision to Arjuna. Many people have this strange notion that in the 11th chapter, VISHVARޫPA Darshana, Bhagavan came in a different form in front. It is not that. He was seeing the world, but he was seeing the world in a new light, where everywhere he could find the hidden hand of Bhagavan. That is called Divya Chakshu. That is what was given to him. And it can be developed by each and every one of us by purifying the mind, by choosing thoughts, by choosing divine thoughts. So this is what the sadhaka does. Earlier he was seeing the situation in a different way. Now with this knowledge he is taking the situation in a very different way. There was one boy who did not have legs. He was on that, what do you call that? Crutches. So he was watching boys playing football. He himself did not have any legs. So someone saw this, that this boy was watching other boys playing football. So this person came and said, dear, don't you feel bad that you don't have legs? So this boy answered back, sir, don't you feel bad that you don't have wings? Don't you feel bad that you don't have wings? Because birds are flying because of their wings. That is a wonderful experience to fly. Now you don't have wings, so definitely you must be feeling bad. Then he said, no, I have accepted it. It's not there. So the same way the boy said, yes, I have accepted my condition as a prasad from the Lord. So therefore there is no question of feeling bad here. If Bhagavan feels that I should not have legs, yes, there must be some purpose. If he feels that I should not have eyes, there must be some purpose. I'm sure you must have heard the story of Helen Keller. She did not have eyes, she could not hear also, I think, and she could not speak also. But if you read her, some of her statements and biography, she felt that these handicaps were in fact a blessings for her, because the outer world was not there to distract her. She could go within, and from within she could clearly hear the voice of God. So she said, Lord, I can take it only as a blessing, all this. Earlier, of course, she was very, a grumbling child, a troublesome child. But later on, she could take even these handicaps as blessings of the Lord. So this is how we have to cultivate. So there is a hidden hand functioning everywhere. This hidden hand, this sadhaka tries to see. Swami Taponji Maharaj, when he used to take bath in Ganga, what he used to feel? He would say, this is nothing but Brahman in liquid form. He never saw Ganga as a mere plain river water. If a scientist goes to take bath, what will he see? He will see only H2O. Isn't it? He will see hydrogen and oxygen, nothing else. So in the process what happens? In the process at the most physically he will become clean when he takes a dip. But mentally at the mind level there is no devotion. It remains dry. So only physically he has become pure. But a devotee, when he jumps into Ganga, Tulsidas ji used to say, I am playing in the lap of my mother. You see what happens? Physically anyway he is getting purified, but at the same time these emotions, these noble emotions, they enrich the mind. And these noble emotions are necessary for the highest sadhana, nirguna nirakara sadhana. It is essential. This pure mind is essential. So what are the terms used by this sadhaka? The terms used are, Bhagavan, you are sarvatnyaha, all-knower. You are the creator of the world. You are like my father, like my mother. So therefore, whenever I have problem, I will come to you. And I know you will give me the best answer. See? So the world is not a problem for him. He need not do sanniyamya indriya gramam and all. He need not do. Because the world is not a distraction for him now. World becomes a means for him to develop devotion. When he sees world, he sees God alone. So now what Bhagavan says here, 6, 7 and 8. Ye tu sarvani karmani mai sanyasya matparāhā. So the term used is Matparāhā. For him, what is the highest? Highest is God. Now here, Mat means Saguna Brahman. Not Nirguna Brahman, Saguna. Considering me as supreme. Sarvani karmani mai sanyasya. Performing all actions. Now here sanyasya doesn't mean renouncing. Literal meaning is renouncing all actions unto me. Doesn't mean he renounces all actions. What it means is, he performs all actions for my sake. Mai sarvani karmani sanyasya ananyenaiva yogena mam dhyayante upasate. What kind of yoga does he practice? Ananya yoga. Yoga of no otherness. Meaning, trying to fix his mind upon this, upon God. Ananya yoga. When he performs action, he performs it for the Lord. And even when he is performing, he has that idea that, oh Lord, the strength to perform action has come from you. The field of action is yours. The abilities to perform action has come from you. The talents, everything has come from you. So therefore, actions belong to you. So therefore, results also must belong to you. This is called Ananya Yoga. And even while performing action, he is very clear. The purpose is purification of mind. So as much as possible, he will bring out all noble emotions. This way, the one who performs action, actually the sentence is not complete in 6. The sentence becomes complete only in verse number 7. So those people who perform all action considering me as supreme, those people who performs all actions for me with single pointedness. What does Bhagavan do? Tesham aham Samuddhartā. I become their redeemer, savior. From where? Mrityu samsara sagarat. Bhagavan says, I take the responsibility to redeem him, to save him. When? Nachirat, quickly, without any time delay. For those people who are Mai Aveshita Chetasam, those people who have absorbed their mind in me. So what is Bhagavan's promise? Well, this is one of the many promises which the Lord gives in Gita. Bhagavan says, those people who have totally surrendered unto me, who have no other refuge than me. Ananya Yoga means no other refuge. If at all any help comes, he will say, God is helping through him. That is the way he will analyze. He will not say, because of him I am saved. He will say, God through him has saved me. So everywhere the pointing is towards God. So this way those people who have totally taken refuge in me, who have no other refuge other than me, Bhagavan says, I take up their responsibility to save them. Whatever they need, Yogakshemam Vahamyam. Whatever they need, I provide. Samuddhartā. Samuddhartā means Samyak Utharta. How does he lift from this Mrityu Samsara Sagar? This ocean of change, the ocean of death. This is how this world has been described. Now let us first see this term. Mrityu Samsara Sagara. What is this world? Bhagavan himself is describing it as full of pain and suffering. Why does Bhagavan describe this? Remember, Bhagavan has deliberately made this world painful. Why has Bhagavan deliberately made this world painful? Because if there is no pain and suffering, no one will turn towards him. Even with all these imperfections, we are so stuck up in the world, we find it difficult to come out. What would have happened if he had made world perfect? Isn't it? So therefore, what has he done? He has made everything imperfect. Any relationship, whatever be the relationship we make with others, that relationship, he has made it temporary, impermanent. One person or the other has to die, and that relationship also will break. That is an imperfection. Body he has made imperfect. It has a birth date, it has a death date, and in between now and then you are reminded also that see, this vehicle has got a expiry date. So you are reminded through disease, you are reminded through white hairs, you are reminded through wrinkles, you are reminded through knee pains, etc., etc., etc. Isn't it? So there is an imperfection there. In this world, love also is made conditional love. There is no unconditional love available in this world. Everything is conditional love only. If you want unconditional love, you have to turn to God. If you want infinite existence, you have to turn towards God. If you want permanent relationship, you have to turn towards God. So therefore, Bhagavan has deliberately made everything imperfect in this world so that his children will someday or the other turn towards him. This is the purpose. This purpose has to be understood. Otherwise, you will only curse God. You will only curse God otherwise. So that's why this world is described as Mrityu Samsara Sagar. It's an ocean. And we are all drowning in this ocean. So in an ocean, if someone is drowning, can he save himself out of his own self-effort? No. It's an ocean. So it is not possible for a person to save himself. Someone has to save, isn't it? So Bhagavan says, I will save him. Aham Samuddhartā bhavami. Samsara means samsarati iti samsara. That which continuously undergoes change is called samsara. Nothing is permanent in this world. As Gurudev used to say, change is the changeless law of this universe. Change is the changeless law of this universe. Everything is changing. Everything is changing. So therefore, if you want stability in life, if you want permanent peace in life, you have to hold on to something permanent. And who is that permanent thing? God alone is that permanent thing. Mrityu samsara sagara. Everything has only final truth. The final truth of everything is mrityu, death. It is the final truth. So therefore, what does Bhagavan say? The one who totally depends on me, it becomes my responsibility to lift them from this world. I become the protector. Because he has sought me, I save him. But you suppose there is a person who is enjoying the very drowning process. He doesn't want God. For him, the world is a place of pleasure, of joy. So if Bhagavan says, come on, give your hand, I will save you, will he give his hand? No. Because for him, the world is not a place of suffering, the world is a place of enjoyment. So what does Bhagavan say? The one who suffers in this world, I save him. One who seeks my help, I give my help. So this has to be understood properly. Bhagavan's help will come to you only when you seek it, not otherwise. He is ready to help, but when will you get that help? Only when you wholeheartedly seek. So the common example given is the sunlight. The sunlight can enter your room only when you open the windows and the doors. Who has to decide whether the windows have to be opened or not? You have to decide. Sun cannot decide that. Sunlight is waiting there outside. If it has to enter, you have to open the door. That is called seeking help. Now here that is what is meant. Mai sarvani karmani sanyasya matparāhā ananyena yogena mam dhyayante upāsate means what? Seeking God. So those people who have sought me, I become their redeemer. So here the term used is what is that? Samuddhartā. Samyak ut harta. Harta means to take. Ut means taking up, lifting. Samyak, very, very well. Have you seen this mother cat holding the kitten? That is the example given here, normally. So that kitten knows only one thing. What is that? Meow, meow. That's all. It doesn't know. That kitten doesn't know which is the safe place, where to go, what to do, nothing. It just knows one thing. It just calls its mother. And then mother, what does she do? She also does this. Samuddhartā she does. She lifts. Have you seen mother cat lifting the kitten? It catches here. Because that is one place where there is no pain. And she carefully does it with her teeth. The very same teeth which she uses to tear apart a rat. Though she is using the same teeth, there is no pain involved. Softly she does, isn't it? She lives and somewhere she goes. Somewhere the terrace where some old cardboards are kept with thermocol, etc. So she makes sure that the kitten is placed in a warm surrounding, in a safe surrounding. In olden days, these kittens were placed near to that hearth, in the kitchen, the fire will be burning. So backside, it is dark and it is warm and it is safe. So the mother places the kitten there. I don't know whether you have seen. Nowadays, no such scenes are. Olden days, in the villages and all, you can find even now. So the entire responsibility is taken by the mother cat to take care of that kitten. So Bhagavan also says the very same way. Now see, when you see such scenes, a dog taking care of the puppy, or a cat taking care of the kitten, what you should remember, what you should think. Don't just see the superficial thing, a dog or a cat, etc. Try to feel that love which that mother has for the child. And that love, you should connect it to divine love. This is what this Upasaka does. He is also seeing the same scene, a mother taking care of the child. But where does his mind go? Bhagavan, how much of love you have given to that mother? Because the mother cannot create that love out of herself. It has come. If it has come, from where has it come? It must have come from that source. So then, even though he is seeing that situation, his mind is elevated towards God. This is Saguna NIRΑKΑRA Upāsanā or VISHVARūPA ISHVARA Upāsanā. In the whole world, he is seeing nothing but the play of God. VISHVARūPA ISHVARA Upāsanā. A Mahatma was walking along the road. So suddenly some robbers came and they hit him and he was lying in a pool of blood on the roadside. After some time a car came and a noble person was there inside the car. He saw this Mahatma lying in this pool of blood. Immediately he took him to the car, took him to a nearby hospital. So he was admitted there. So after some time this Mahatma regained consciousness. So this rich man, he gave a glass of milk and asked, "Sir, who did this to you?" So that Mahatma said, "The one who did it is now giving milk to me." The very same people who have, the one who did it is now giving this milk to me. For him there was no difference, whether it was a robber or this rich man. For him it was all a play of God. This is the kind of vision one has to develop. So here Bhagavan says, such devotee, it becomes my responsibility to lift them. Right. So what is the sadhana to be performed? Mayeva mana adhatsva. This is the sadhana. Mayeva mana adhatsva. Fix your mind in me alone. Mayeva. Which may? May means in me. Now here see, in Bhagavad Gita, many times Krishna uses the term I, my, me, etc. So you have to define that term according to the context. You cannot use any term. Sometimes Bhagavan uses I as Nirguna NIRΑKΑRA I, which is pure consciousness. Sometimes Bhagavan uses I as VISHVARūPA ISHVARA I. And sometimes Bhagavan uses I as Vasudeva Putra I. So this has to be clearly understood. So according to the context, that is where the commentaries of Mahatmas play a role. Otherwise, according to us, if you just read, it is all me. So here, Mai eva mana adhatsva, fix your mind in me alone. Which me? Which me? VISHVARūPA ISHVARA. Or, VISHVARūPA ISHVARA. Right. Mayeva mana adhatsva, mai buddhim niveshaya. There also VISHVARūPA I. But the third one, nivasishyasi mayeva. Which me? You will reside in me alone. Fix your mind in me alone. Fix your intellect in me alone. You will reside in me alone. This is the translation. So in the first two cases, it is Vishvarupa Ishvara me. The third one is Nirguna Nirakara me, which is that consciousness. You got it? Because that is the highest. You must know God as He is. And who is that God? None other than consciousness, pure consciousness. You got the point? So the third me is pure consciousness. Meaning what? Nivasishyasi mayyeva means you will come to know me as yourself, as Aham Brahmasmi. Ata urdhvam na samshayaha. No doubt about this. So what does it mean? You start practicing Vishvarupa Ishvara Upāsanā, you will be taken to Nirguna Nirakara Dhyanam, and from there you will come to me, come to know me. So, practice level 4, I myself will take you through level 5 to me. This is the meaning. So now let us see the first one. Mayyeva mana ādhatsva. Fix your mind in me alone. So what is the function of mind? With mind we love, we feel. So Mayyeva mana ādhatsva means may you take this psychological help, support from me. Meaning what? See, whenever we are disturbed, we want someone to shower love upon us, isn't it? Every one of us, we have the craving to be loved. Yes? We all want to receive love. We want someone, we want a psychological lap unto which we can fall. A lap is necessary. Just like mother's lap is there for a child, all of us, even the grown-up ones, also need a lap. So, Mayyeva mana ādhatsva means, may that psychological lap be me. So, when you are disturbed, when you are full of, someone has hurt you, so where you should take the support? Take the support from God. Start talking to Him in your own language. Pour out your feelings to Him with the feeling that He is listening. And then you will find all that rubbish coming out and your mind will be swachha, free. Don't keep everything suppressed. Pour out. Normally people go to psychologists, etc. to pour out things. And the psychologists earn money just by listening. They don't have to do anything. They have to just listen. And suddenly after some 15 minutes, this person feels very nice. And he thinks, this psychologist is a great man. See, within 15 minutes I felt relieved. He has done nothing. Was just listening. Isn't it? So what we have to do, we don't have to depend on anyone. At least this sadhaka doesn't do this. What he does, yes, there will be situations when you are disturbed, when you are angry, when you are jealous or whatever. All those negative emotions, he will keep it for his meditation. He will keep it aside. So morning and evening, he spends time with God, keeping all the other relationship, etc. aside, invoking his relationship with God, and then he starts speaking with God. In the beginning you will find it difficult, but over a process you will know the knack of doing it. And then what will happen? You get clear guidance of what has to be done. The more and more your invoking is strong and sincere, the more and more you get clear guidance. This is called Mayyeva mana ādhatsva. Pour out your feelings, whatever it is, good or bad, unto me. My buddhim niveshaya. Fix your buddhi in me. Buddhi means what? Intellect. With intellect, what do? Intellect is the faculty to decide what is good, what is bad, what is right, what is wrong, what I should do, what I should not do. You rate with intellect. You decide with intellect. So my buddhim niveshaya means, may I be the one who is respected, revered the most in your life. Because God alone is real. So this sadhaka say, Bhagavan, you alone are real, you alone are permanent. This I have understood. So therefore, you alone are worthy to be worshipped. This clear understanding. God alone is real, everything else is impermanent. This understanding you gain through intellect. But how does the intellect gain it? By the study through scriptures and listening to satsangs, discourses. This is how the intellect gains its knowledge. Listening to such discourses alone will give that clarity in your intellect. Otherwise there is no clarity. Only in satsang you get clarity about life. With that intellect which has been nourished by listening to the scriptures, listening to the words of the Mahatmas, that intellect which has become firm, very clear in his understanding about life, Bhagavan says, fix that intellect in me. Meaning, let that intellect understand that I alone am worth seeking. This is something which mind cannot do. Mind can only like and dislike. Liking and disliking cannot take you to the ultimate. Because it is possible that you may like something but that is not good. So the job of taking you towards the truth can be done by intellect alone. Yato yato nischarati manaschancalamassthiram tatastato niyamye tat atmanyeva vasham nayet shanai shanairuparame buddhya dhrutigrihitaya atmasamstham manakritva na kinchidapi chintayet. 6th chapter, Dhyana Yoga. So when you sit for meditation, your mind will wander. Yato yato nischarati manaha chanchalam asthiram. This is mind. What is mind? It is chanchalam, fickle, asthiram, unstable. So it will wander. So what are you supposed to do? When the mind wanders in the fields of likes and dislikes, what are you supposed to do? Shanai shanai uparame buddhya. With buddhi, with intellect, dhruti gruhitaya, which has been made firm. The strength of your intellect depends upon the clarity of your understanding. What is the strength of intellect? Clarity. So with that intellect which is very clear about the truth, with that intellect you withdraw the mind. So now there is a tussle between the mind and the intellect. Whichever is strong will pull the other. So intellect will say, this is nitya, everything is anitya, come here. Mind will say, this I like, that I like, this person I like, that I like, it is going. So who will win this tug of war? Tug of war will be won by the one who is strong. So if the intellect has to be very strong for a meditator, if the intellect is strong, after having listening to this satsang again and again, not once or twice, because we are all in samsara so deep that this satsang has to be regular. It should not break in between. It is something like scum, in the water. Have you seen that scum, green thing? You just remove it, for some time the water is clear, again it comes back. So in the same way, this scum of worldliness also will come back. The satsang is over, within 5 minutes you will find your mind is filled with worldliness. So this intellect has to be strengthened through continuous, regular listening, remaining in this atmosphere. So thus strengthened intellect alone can take the mind, pull the mind back and fix it in Atman. Shanai Shanairu Parame Buddhya Dhruti Grihitaya Atma Samstham Manakritva Nakinchidapi Chintayet. Fixing that mind in Atma, in God, don't think anything else. So as I told you, in this Upāsanā, your mind must be filled, saturated with love for God. And how to develop love for God? By changing your vision about life, about world. Trying to see the hidden hand of God. And when you do it again and again, your mind becomes spiritual minded. How you train your mind, that way it will behave. You can make your mind money minded, power minded, pleasure minded, or spiritual minded. How do you train the mind? By continuously entertaining that particular kind of thought. So here you are asked to cultivate divine thoughts. You are asked to rate a situation in a divine way. Any situation can be seen from a divine angle. That you have to cultivate. This is called Upāsanā here. So there is a deliberate attempt to rate, to analyze every situation spiritually. This is the Upāsanā. So at the seat of meditation, a person who has got that kind of mind, spiritually saturated mind, for him handling the mind becomes very easy. The mind will only like divine things. It will dislike worldly things. Then that intellect will not have difficulty in handling the mind. Is that clear? Now here, the point to be understood, verse number 6, Ye tu sarvani karmani mai sanyasya matparāhā. You may think that it is karma yoga, but it is Upāsanā. Though it is said that actions renounced unto me, it is more of Upāsanā there than karma. What is the difference between karma and Upāsanā? Karma is something physically done. Upāsanā is more of a mental process. It is more of a superimposition of an idea. 75% it is mind work, 25% it is body work. Then it becomes Upāsanā. It is not karma. Karma later on will come. Is this understood? So have you understood the difference between level 5 and level 4? What is the difference? In level 5, he doesn't do all this. In fact, he has done all this. Level 5 meditator. He has done all this and therefore his mind is rich with love, etc. He has to just close his eyes and his mind is elevated. So mind and intellect is fully supporting him. Such a person alone becomes fit for doing Nirguna NIRΑΚΑRA Upāsanā. If you are not fit in that meditation, you will feel dryness. Very dry. If it is dry, it means mind is not prepared. So in the first level 5, he will not use any of these terms. He will use only pure Upanishadic terms. And his attention is upon consciousness. Whereas level 4 meditator, where does he meditate? His attention is not upon consciousness, on existence, etc. No. On the state of being. No. His attention is not on this I. No. His attention is on a concept of God. He may use these terms, Upanishadic terms, but he will add a flavor to it. A flavor of love he will add. A flavor of compassion he will add. Like for example, who is God? He is the witness. Right? He is consciousness. So this level 4 meditator, he will say, Bhagavan is watching everything. This consciousness is Bhagavan, So therefore he will say Bhagavan is watching everything. He will not say I, Brahman, is watching. No. There's a difference. So Bhagavan is watching everything, so I should not do something wrong. In his eyes I should be pure, I should be clean. At the seat of meditation in the evening, I should not do something because of which I will feel a guilt. You got it? Same terms, but then he adds a color, a flavor. That is why it is called Saguna. There is guna there. Earlier one is Nirguna. Now it is Saguna. Lot of feelings and emotions are added. Okay. Now someone may say, Bhagavan, it is difficult. This sadhana is also difficult. Why is it difficult? Because see, the problem is there is no... Now see, you have to meditate on a concept. These conceptual things are all difficult. Isn't it? If you have studied mathematics, higher you go, everything becomes a concept. See, gross things you can immediately appreciate and understand. 2 plus 2, 4. It is gross. Take 2 apples, count it, 4. It is gross. But when concepts become subtler and subtler, then it becomes very difficult to grasp. Now God as a concept is difficult. In this level 4 especially, it is Saguna NIRΑΚΑRA. Akara is not there. So you have to meditate upon infinite God, which is difficult. It's a concept. So therefore, the next level also Bhagavan gives, it is Saguna Sakara. Sakara means what? Okay, Arjuna, if you find this conceptual thing difficult, take a form or an idol. Thus comes idol worship. Idol worship. If you find that meditating upon God, who is infinite, is difficult for you, at least take a symbol upon which you can meditate easily. Because something it is gross. This is called as Murti Puja. So that is also accepted in our scriptures. As Puja Gurudev used to say, our scriptures are like multi-lane path. The slowest of the slowest. A bullock cart also has a place to go. A high-speed car also has a lane, isn't it? You can't put everything in one lane. So this is a high-speed lane. Nirguna NIRΑKΑRA Upāsanā. Dhyana. It's a very high-speed lane. You can't go it. Okay, go to the next lane. If that is also difficult, go to the next lane. So the third level is Saguna Sakara Upāsanā. So what do? You choose one God. Now since there is an Akara, you have to describe the Akara. And that description is given in the Puranas. This is where Puranas come into picture. Till now, the first one is only Upanishad. But now when you are dealing with a form of God, you must know who that God is, how he dresses, where he lives, what are his leelas. They are all needed for Saguna Sakara Upāsanā. And the material for that Upāsanā is provided in Puranas. Okay, so this one we will take it tomorrow. Right. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayah Sarve Bhadrani Pashyanto Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhag Bhave Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ।